The House That Hums, original story. When Noreen inherited the house, she had no memory of ever visiting it. It stood on the edge of a half-abandoned village, nestled between decaying wheat fields and a forest no one walked through. The villagers whispered about the house like it was a person, with moods, secrets, and a breath of its own. She was told her uncle lived there alone for years before he simply vanished. No body, no note, no goodbye. Just a humming sound that started the night he disappeared and never stopped. The locals said it was cursed, but to Noreen, it was a free house. After a difficult divorce and a career that had begun crumbling beneath her feet, it felt like something she could own, control. Even if she didn't remember ever stepping foot in that village, the deed had her name on it, in her uncle's careful handwriting. She arrived one morning under a slate-gray sky. The house was tall, narrow, and dark as though it was holding its breath. Ivy crept up the walls like veins. The front gate was rusted shut, so she climbed over, suitcase in hand. There was no key, just a heavy iron knocker on the door. To her surprise, it opened with a gentle push, as if the house had been waiting. The humming began as soon as she crossed the threshold. It wasn't a sound coming from any room or any direction. It was just there. Low, constant, like a vibration in her chest more than in her ears. Not a machine, not music, just a note. One single, endless note. She tried to ignore it, brushing it off as an old pipe or strange acoustics. The house was filled with old furniture covered in white sheets. The kind of place that looked untouched, yet faintly lived in. She thought of her uncle and the silence he must have known in this place. She found photos in the drawers, pictures of him alone, younger, then older, and in some. She saw a little girl, always turned away from the camera, always standing near him. Her. It was her, the curve of the jaw, the mole below the left ear, the chipped front tooth. These weren't strangers. She had been in this house before. But when? That night, the humming grew louder. It filled her dreams with strange images. Trees swaying without wind, doors opening to staircases that led downward forever, a girl humming into the mirror until her reflection started moving on its own. She woke up with a start. The walls seemed closer than before, the hallway longer, the air colder. Over the next few days, she explored every room. The attic was locked. The basement stairs were broken halfway down. In the study, she found her uncle's journal. The last entry read, "She's coming back soon. I told the house to be kind to her." She didn't understand what that meant. Then, on the fourth night, the house hummed louder. It shook the glass. Her head ached. She heard footsteps above, even though the attic was sealed. A soft knock echoed from the ceiling, in rhythm with the humming. That morning, she saw something carved on her bedroom wall. 3 words. "You were here." She ran her fingers over them. They were old. The paint had cracked around the letters. It wasn't fresh. She hadn't written it. She tried to leave. She packed her bags, grabbed her keys, and walked to the gate. But it wasn't there. The fence now circled the entire property. The road she came from was gone, replaced by an endless line of trees. She called for help. No signal, no sound. Only the humming, now deeper, vibrating through the floor. That night, she tore open the attic door. Inside were paintings. Hundreds, all of her, every age, different dresses, different faces, her sleeping, crying, smiling, painted in oil, in charcoal, in pastels. Some realistic, some childlike. At the center of the attic was a mirror. As she stepped toward it, she saw herself. But her reflection didn't move when she did. It just stared. Then it smiled and hummed. She screamed. But the room swallowed the sound. The house vibrated like a struck bell. She stumbled back, fell down the attic stairs, and blacked out. She awoke in bed, dressed in clothes she didn't own. The window was sealed shut. The door was gone. The house had changed. It was no longer a home. It was a loop, a memory, a space folding inward on itself. And she was part of it. She sat by the window for hours, humming quietly, waiting. Sometimes she heard footsteps. Other times she saw flickers of her younger self walking through the halls. Time passed differently now. Sometimes she remembered her name. Sometimes she didn't. One day, a letter arrived at the door, yellowed, old, with her name in unfamiliar handwriting. It simply read, "Dear Noreen, the house remembers you. The question is, do you remember the house?" That night, she stood in front of the mirror again. This time, the reflection moved, but she didn't. And now the house hums, waiting for the next person to remember it.